Incoming transmission from Novaria.
Normandy! Are you there? Repeat, requesting immediate aid! Please!
Request denied. Setting new course for Caliston.
Many decisions lie ahead. None of them easy.
Good evening everyone, Daniel Miller here. How's everybody doing? Welcome to our Mass Effect world. We're back tonight with a shorter Mass Effect stream, and first I want to welcome you all really back to my Twitch channel. And as you know, I've been absent for quite a while, and I talked yesterday about Mixer and all that was sort of happening out there, and indicated that I will be present more on Twitch in view of the fact that I tested Mixer and I find it to be not really a very stable platform, and also not really a platform that is attracting a greater number of community members, or indeed the one that would perform technically. So you'll see a lot more of me here yet again, and we started with our second season of broadcasts. As said, we were doing Halo the Master Chief Collection, we were doing also Mass Effect, and there were also some streams of Destiny 1 and 2, and this is what we are going to do in due course as well, in addition to the weekly blockbusters or the big backbone games here on my Twitch channel. We also have during the weekend a lot of freebies and newbies and all the introductions that both Xbox and PlayStation are doing every single weekend or every single month. We'll focus on these games as well in order to provide you with the best possible entertainment and high quality content. Obviously, I'm always inviting everybody to participate in those free trials, because the developers are making the best games available, and you really, I believe all of us should be supporting them in order to provide them with more interest, and you may discover that some games that perhaps previously did not catch your eye were indeed very interesting, and you may well want to purchase them at a later stage after you play them. For instance, I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey the other day, and I was absolutely astonished by its quality and the volume of all that's been seen and said, and therefore I will be purchasing. I just wait for the price to drop somewhat, because presently there aren't any special offers that would suit me really, either on Xbox or PlayStation. But I absolutely love the game and find it to be particularly enjoyable, as it also has that educational content which can be applied if one wants to learn about the ancient Greece, for instance, and that is absolutely tremendous. So you can really choose whether to use the game as your a book to learn from, or indeed your entertainment package. The choice is yours. Today, yet again, we were facing a very, very grim, very dark, very deadly day in the UK. We've had a very great number of people sadly dying from coronavirus, or COVID-19 as it's known, and we had a great number of people also being diagnosed as suffering from the virus. So my heart really goes to everyone who suffered losses, and you're all in my thoughts and prayers. I'm absolutely devastated to hear that we are still not able to contain the virus as we would like to, and I absolutely applaud everyone who's involved on the front line, really, with our NHS and health workers and key workers and all the other services, myself included, in fact, because I run also another service which is helping people who are affected by coronavirus online. And I really think that we're doing everything possible to help everyone as much as we can. And I'm quite certain that as we are experiencing a protracted a period of isolation, and you could say even in some areas a curfew, because people don't go out at all. In my local area, honestly, after 8 o'clock in the evening, you really do not see even cats and dogs or flies on the streets. It's completely deserted. No air traffic. You can actually hear the silence. It is so quiet. It's astonishing, because the only experience of that I had previously was in the Dolomites, and to tell you the truth, it was absolute silence, but still you could see some of the planes flying. And today, in my local area, which is in London suburbs, we don't even have that, which means it's astonishingly quiet. When you walk, you can hear the silence, and that is very eerie. But that is the way it needs to be. We need to be sticking to our self-isolation, our quarantine. We need to avoid social contact. We need to stay at home in order to help everyone who is involved in this great battle. It is a war against the invisible enemy, and I think for everyone who's watched the regular bulletins every single day from our government officials and scientists, you'll be able to see that they're doing everything within their powers, everything they can, to provide the best possible quality service. And I've got to say that some of the demands coming from the public and from some of the journalists are completely unrealistic, and they're completely devoid of certain realities, and I really beg people to really think and consider when they ask questions, because there are certain things which are manageable and there are things which are simply not. Frequently I said, well, if you had a shortage of housing in a local area and you were offering one flat and there were 1,000 people showing up to get into that flat, well, you wouldn't be able to accommodate 1,000 people who were trying to get into one flat, because the flat could accommodate maybe 3 or 4. And if everyone really pressed on that and everyone wanted to get in the house would collapse. And that's unfortunately the way things are if you have a pandemic which is spiraling out of control. That is not the case. We don't have a situation which is spiraling out of control. It is well managed. The services are all delivered. We don't have any shortages of beds or equipment as it goes. And, we are doing everything possible. But some of the questions I've heard were just completely unreasonable. And I think everyone needs to accept the fact that as the global pandemic subsides, we are going to be facing a major change in the way we run our societies, because it is very visible that under such duress certain things are being imposed and done that previously were unheard of or even unimaginable. And I think our social system, the way we work, the way the social security works and everything else will undergo some absolutely unbelievable historic change once the dust settles, once we are able to venture out and defeat this deadly enemy. And for anyone who wore uniform, they'll tell you, when you fight a war, generally you know where the enemy is or where the enemy is likely to be. In this instance, we absolutely do not. We are fighting a war that is attacking us from all sides and at all times, and we can't see the enemy, and that is unsettling, fear-inducing, and definitely very, very disturbing. But we've got to persevere. We've got to carry on fighting. We've got to do everything necessary to provide social isolation, to stay at home, to prevent any form of social contact, and therefore enable the health professionals and the frontline staff in the medical profession to persevere, really, from the treatment of the patients through attendance to new cases, as well as scientific research, which in this case is more valuable than anything else on earth. And I really want to stress that, because people don't appreciate what sort of hard work the scientists are putting into this, and that they work 24/7. And like Francis Crick Institute in London, which is next to St Pancras Station, is a leading institute in our country and one of the best in the world. And they worked flat out already for probably a month, dealing with everything virus related, and they really absolutely deserve our applause and our gratitude, our heartfelt sympathy, and everything else that they can provide. So please remember that if you are passing by, or if you are indeed asked to be clapping on a particular day at a specific time, like what we've done today at 8 o'clock p.m. Throughout the United Kingdom. It was very humbling, I have to say, to see everyone clapping. Myself, as a health professional, I had never seen that degree of heartfelt sympathy and support on display from every single citizen before in my life, and I feel humbled and appreciated, and I feel not just appreciated for the work that everybody is doing at the moment, but for the entire work that I've spent my life on, really, and all that I've been doing over the years. You really feel that at the moment of national emergency, people recognize the effort that otherwise is unseen or perhaps not noticed as much as it should be, and that is really humbling and really appreciated. It's a gratitude for all that everyone's been doing, the doctors, the nurses, the therapists and medical staff and affiliated professions and everyone else who's involved in social care, and that is wonderful, because I said to people, the care and the attention given to such services has never disappeared. People are always appreciative of those services, but the way of life that we are leading is preventing us from recognizing it or even displaying it. And I think we are now obviously facing a very, very significant change in all ways. And I personally think that we are to see the changes that we never ever dreamt of in terms of how the society is organized and the industries and everything else. There's no way back, and this cataclysmic epidemic and pandemic, as it's called, is causing many changes in all sorts of ways throughout the entire world. That includes all countries everywhere. So if you are here with us, if you're watching my broadcast, take a moment of your time just to think of somebody who you know who works in the NHS, somebody who works on the frontline services, any other health professional, and think about them. Just keep them in your mind, and by doing so you are going to be displaying a great deal of gratitude, and you'll show a degree of appreciation for all that is being done. I can tell you, because I had felt that very strongly today at 8 o'clock p.m. and many times previously I felt that my work was neither recognized nor appreciated, and that certainly is not the case at the moment, and I'm very, very grateful to everyone, to every single citizen, every single child, every older person, every working man and woman, every person who is in our country who was indeed at that point clapping and saying thank you to everyone who is involved in this global and national effort whilst we are trying to defeat this dreadful invisible enemy. Hashtag stay at home UK, hashtag stay indoors UK, hashtag be a hero. Remember that. You are a hero if you're staying at home. You are a hero if you're playing a game with us, if you're connecting, if you're talking about your anxieties and concerns with others. We are here to help, and you can engage with professional forums, myself included, and my colleagues. We are running various forums online that are helping people during the day with ongoing anxieties and pressures as experienced with this dreadful pandemic. And then also in evening I run my broadcasts, which also are getting people from around the world to watch, to discuss things, to join hands, to join forces, and to share all that is presently on their mind, in addition to playing games, in order to venture into the fantasy world and detach from everyday worries. So thank you for that, and thank you for appreciating us, and thank you for displaying that degree of gratitude. Really much appreciated from us all. And now we are going to be continuing with Mass Effect stream. For all of you who watched, you'll know that we stream Mass Effect here on Twitch and on Mixer. We are progressing, I would say, not rapidly forward, but we're progressing really with our quests and side missions. Today we are going to be focusing on lots of side missions. I think about half a dozen that popped up yesterday. I think one was there from before, and the rest is indeed brand new. And then we'll carry on with our campaign. So without further ado, the time is now to jump in and to enjoy our Mass Effect world. If you watched our stream last night, you would have realized that Major Kyle was the character who had set up some sort of cult sect on a distant planet in another galaxy, and they were basically running a community full of biotics. So we went there to find out what was going on, and instead of eliminating the settlement, which I guess would have been preferred by the Alliance, we tried to persuade the Major to give himself up in order to save the lives of his so-called children. And he was indeed reasonable. He agreed with our proposal, and therefore we were asked to go back to Normandy. He wanted to talk to his biotic inhabitants in order to, I guess, depart from them peacefully. And we are going to be now proceeding. I'm not sure whether the outcome is going to be indeed very peaceful as desired, or whether we end up with a major firefight. That all remains to be seen. So without further ado, this is what we are going to do straight away. Alright, let's see, we've come back to Normandy, and now we'll need to be talking to our friends and probably to the council. Well, it doesn't look like it, so let me see what the task is. Beyond assignments, Major Kyle. Admiral Hackett needs to be informed so he can arrange for a team to arrest Major Kyle, so we probably need to speak to either Joker or Navigator Presley.
Yes, Commander?
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, sir.
It's not him. Heat load the monitor. Okay. Double checked everything here.
I prefer gold to silver, you know, for my medal. I figured you'd recommend me for one since I pulled your boots out of the fire.
If we present you with a medal, you'll end up sitting on stage listening to politicians make speeches for a couple of hours. Fun.
That's a good point. They'd probably make me shave, too. I spent the last 7 weeks working on this baby. No medal's worth that. So, Commander, why don't you tell me why you're really here?
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
I'm sorry, Joker. I didn't even know you were sick.
You mean you didn't know? Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Vrolik syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic. But I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you know, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
I have to go.
Alright, see ya.
I wonder where he needs to go, because really, it does say here that we need to come back to Admiral Hackett needs to be informed so he can arrange for a team, so we need to... Yeah. Very strange. Okay, let's see. Maybe we need to go elsewhere.
Yes, Commander?
No,
Carry on, Presley.
it's nothing.
Yes, sir.
Nothing with him either.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
Is this an official evaluation, Commander? Or off the record?
Alenko, when it's just you and me, you can consider it off the record.
That's a generous attitude. Okay. I think there's something wrong with all this. This Saren is looking for records on some kind of galactic extinction, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
The Council doesn't want to believe anything's wrong. I'd call it human nature, but...
I hear you. It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming. Sorry if I got too informal. Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
Tell me about it.
Biotic acclimation and temperance didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element 0 in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
Is there some question about how you were exposed?
My mother was downwind of a transport crash. It was before there were human biotics, a little after the discovery of the Martian ruins. It only gets iffy around 63 when Kinetics was running out of first-gen subjects. Until then, they'd relied on accidentals. A bunch of guys in suits show up at your door after school, and next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero.
Jump Zero is Gagarin Station, right? What's it like?
Yeah, that's the official name. Biggest and farthest facility we had for decades. Right on the termination shock, the outer edge of the solar system. It's where they did all the Goose Chase FTL research before we caught on to using mass effect fields. It was a sterile research platform when I was there.
There were other kids in the same boat, right? At least you weren't alone out there.
That's true. We did have a little circle that'd get together every night before lights out. We didn't have much to do, though. It was a research platform then, and Kinetics kept Jump Zero off the extranet to prevent leaks.
Then you must have had plenty of time to get to know each other.
Yeah, we'd sit around and bull every night after dinner, play cards or network games. There was this girl named Rana, who had a little circle grow up around her. She was from Turkey. Her family was very rich. But she was smart and charming as hell. Beautiful, but not stuck up about it. I think you'd have liked her.
Sounds like she was special to you.
She was. Maybe she felt the same. But things never felt together. Training, you know.
You know of any intentional exposures for certain?
No one knows. Doesn't mean they didn't happen. As big as the exposures were, it was hard to track down accidentals. It was different then. No one knew the potential, so there wasn't a lot of regulation. Anything Kinetics did was gold. I'm not saying they intentionally detonated drives over our outposts, but in retrospect, they were damn quick on the scene.
Jump Zero's a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks a lot better in the vids. But that's my own baggage, Commander. No bearing on this.
Alenko, there's no regulation that says you can't be friends with your commander.
I appreciate that, Commander. I just don't want you to think that I'm a whiner. Besides, I've got my past squared away.
So we learned quite a lot about possible conspiracy in there. Let's just see Shepard's locker. Sleeper pod. Not been using any of these so far. Okay. So it doesn't look like there is anyone here. Maybe wanting to talk to us. Where would this elevator go though? We're going down below. I think comms room is the area where we need to speak to Admiral Hackett. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out.
Shepard, what can I do for you?
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
You Krogan live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
I heard about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
I was just making conversation. I wasn't trying to upset you.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
Are your people really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight. So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist? You ask a Krogan, would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credits? He'll choose fighting every time. It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Okay. Tali's locker. Everyone's lockers here. Rex, Garrus. Okay.
Commander,
Ashley.
you have a minute to talk?
I keep an open door policy. If you have any concerns, lay them on me.
All right. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
They may not serve the Alliance, Chief, but they're allies. At least as far as Saren goes.
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
Standing up for ourselves doesn't mean standing alone.
I don't think we should turn down allies. I just think we shouldn't bet everything on them staying allies. As noble as the Council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
You've got a pessimistic view of the universe, Williams.
A pessimist is what an optimist calls a realist. Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
These seem like deeply held beliefs, Williams. What made you think this way?
My family's defended the Alliance since it was founded. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
All right. I can see where your concerns are coming from, Williams. But this is a multilateral mission. You're going to have to work with aliens, like it or not.
It won't be a problem, Commander. You say jump, I say how high. You tell me to kiss a Turian, I'll ask which cheek.
I don't think kissing Turians will be necessary.
You never know, Commander.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
I think she's being straight with us. Or at least, I don't think she lies very often.
Yeah, she's probably really bad at it. Too bad those ruins got destroyed. They lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
I think she's being straight with us. Or at least...
Yeah, she's... Too bad those ruins got destroyed. They lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
We'll talk later, Williams.
Looking forward to it, sir.
Alright, so that's Williams, and that was Krogan, and it's probably everyone here.
Commander,
Garrus is there.
nice work out there. I knew working with a Spectre would be better than life at CSEC.
Have you worked with a Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
For the most part, the rules are there for a reason.
Maybe. But sometimes it feels like the rules are only there to stop me from doing my work. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But CSEC wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
If getting the job done means endangering innocent people, then no. We get the job done right, not fast. Got it?
I wasn't trying to. I understand, Commander.
Inspecting our rover.
Hey, Commander. Looking for some extra supplies before you head out?
What have you got?
Whatever you want. Armor, weapons, mods. It's not standard Alliance issue, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, as long as you don't mind paying for it.
Why should I pay you for my weapons and armor?
My stuff doesn't come from the Alliance. I have to purchase it myself, and it's not cheap. Hell, the licenses alone have set me back more than I'd like. But no licenses, no goods. Without the goods, I'm out of a job.
What are licenses? Why do you need them?
Manufacturers sell licenses. Each license allows me to buy and sell a certain brand of products. I already have several basic ones, but you'll need to buy more if you want me to bring in different brands. Many of the best licenses are hard to get, but they're well worth the cost if you can find them.
Let's see what you've got.
You bet, Commander. Looking for supplies?
What are licenses? Why do you need them?
Manufacturers sell licenses. Each license allows me to buy and sell a certain brand of products. I already have several basic ones, but you'll need to buy more if you want me to bring in different brands. Many of the best licenses are hard to get, but they're well worth the cost if you can find them.
What do the different manufacturers offer?
There are too many for me to keep track of, but each license will explain what it's good for.
Let's see what you've got.
You bet, Commander.
Don't have anything anymore for light armor, medium armor, light armor Turian. Okay, maybe I can buy that for him. Not really, we want to have a much better quality armor. Okay. So you could really see how the concept of trade and acquisition of all kinds of important bits of kit has been really well developed in here. It does appear to be very basic in the way you are kind of using some of your controls, and then you have to be doing the mods manually and doing all sorts, but you know, the origins of everything we have here, we have nowadays in the games, in open world games, is actually present in Mass Effect. It's quite revolutionary. I remember when we were doing this at the time, it was 2007, 2008, when the game came out, and it was seen as revolutionary. A lot of people didn't like the fact they had to fiddle so much to get certain things, but you know, this shouldn't be just a shooter, it should be your thinking man's game. And you've seen already in a couple of missions that it had that my shield, that my armor was not strong enough for some of the enemies, and therefore we were experiencing some difficulty. In fact, I had some comments coming in on Xbox app well, the night, where somebody spotted that my armor was not as good as it should be when tackling certain enemies, and they said, well, you really have very little protection from your shields, and that's very interesting comments, really, and really appreciated, because I realized, well, it's an omission on my behalf, and therefore this is going to be remedying everything. What we are going to do is we're going to equip our character now with a completed type of armor. So as you will see, we'll go to equipment and we'll look at Scorpion Heavy Armor Human. So that's the one that I just bought, I think. That's heavy armor. We need to just a second. Scorpion Heavy Armor. It's the best one. And then upgrades. Shield modulator. Kinetic buffer. It's the kinetic shield modulator. Kinetic burst combat suits. Land capacity to store energy from a generator. 90 plus shields. I think that's probably quite good. Do that. Shield modulator. Wonder we can have. Probably can't have anything else there. Oh yeah, we have. Okay, so what's the other thing that we need to do there? Assault rifle. Raptor. 198, so it should be a lot better. Banshee. Where is it? 198. Avenger 4. 180. Okay. Raptor. Upgrades. Improve sighting. Okay. Smitter. So it looks like Smitter 4 is the best one. What did I do now? Assault rifle. Raptor. Okay, pistol. We had the better one, I think. Raker 4, Kessler. Yeah, Raker 4 is the better one. And then we have sniper rifle, I think. Avenger 3. Avenger. Well, to be honest with you, that hammer looks better than that. Maybe we can just try it. Can try a hammer, then that's some other time. Grenades, upgrades, some extra explosives. 35%. Yeah, I think that's probably quite good. Yeah, so that's, I think, all in order, since that's the best kit that we've got. Okay. And as you could see, my armor is a lot better than the one I had before. So the armor I'm wearing is Scorpion 4 Heavy Armor Human. And I also have a perk in there which is for the extra shield. Hain Kadar. Okay. We'll save that. Okay, so we'll remember that the acquisition officer is done here. What else do we have down below? Plenty of characters who want to talk to us. Tali.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The Normandy's a prototype. Cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births, though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials.
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
How come the Council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. 1 million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
So, the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
So there's some sort of group consciousness?
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm probably oversimplifying. The Geth are incredibly advanced and complex creations. All you need to know is that they get smarter when they gather in large numbers. As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
I don't see what's so bad about those questions.
The Geth were created to engage in mundane, repetitive, or dangerous manual labor. That's fine for machines, but it won't satisfy a sentient being for long. The Geth were showing signs of rudimentary self-awareness and independent thought. If the Geth were intelligent, then we were essentially using them as slaves. It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
You can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the Veil. Now we drift through space, exile searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
It's hard to feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place, but we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get so worked up. Most Quarians tend to have pretty strong opinions about the Geth.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet. But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet. This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when a gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift. It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when a gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift. It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
It's not like they just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey. We also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most. By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer. Virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
I should go.
See you later.
Well, as you could see, we really acquired a lot of knowledge on Geth and all sorts of other issues related to this dangerous species. We realized that her ancestors were in fact the ones who created the Geth, and discovered that what was to be an enslaved species became a thinking species, dangerous for, well, obviously their race, and then decided to wipe them out. Geth worked this out, or realized well in advance, and basically showed a very, very stiff resistance, hence the opposition to all other races which we have seen in the game so far. So that was very educational. I'd like to advise and invite everyone who does Mass Effect to talk to all characters at all times, because they will have a wealth of information for you, and you'll learn a lot about everything that is happening in this massive, massive big universe.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian, Tally? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You got an eye for Tally, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Fill me in on the IES stealth systems. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Why doesn't it work with faster-than-light travel?
Cranking up the FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on, probably the fastest vessel ever designed, and she's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, but we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Where else have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment was on the Tokyo, only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
So I learned so much about both Normandy and Geth and everything else. It's the geocore that Engineer Adams told us about. Very keen on Tali. Said she was absolutely amazing, which is interesting as some people have been a bit apprehensive about her presence here. Heard Williams question Commander Shepard about this. So we've seen all of that. Right? We talked to everyone. And what do we do next? Well, we'll go up, I think. We need to report to the Admiral and ask about the task force to be dispatched to that planet and apprehend that Renee Major. So let us see whether we can complete that. Try again then. If possible, that is. Why is that he can't access that comms terminal? Ridiculous, isn't it?
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Admiral Hackett here, Commander. Your helmsman just forwarded your report on Major Kyle. We sent in a team as you instructed. Kyle's followers have disbanded, and the Major surrendered to us without incident. We'll make sure he gets the help he needs. To be honest, Shepard, I thought this thing was gonna end in a bloodbath. I don't know how you did it, but you saved a lot of lives. Congratulations.
So are we to picking up now, what? No, that's been resolved. Okay, so that's cool. So there are several League of One medallions and a few ID tags scattered at 3 systems. Okay, valuable minerals. Sorry, writings. Head to the Sol system in the local cluster and deal with the Rogue 6 on the Earth's moon. Okay, so it's Sol system in the local cluster. Sol system in the local cluster. There we are. Some rebellion out there, we need to put it down probably. Let us see. Let us see. Right, it's gonna be on the moon, he said. Venus, Mars, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto. Earth. That should be it, I think. For this mission, we'll pick up 2 humans, and that will be Ashley, and that will be Caden. Because we had some interesting teams in our last few missions, so that will be good. Close to Earth, as you can see. Macros there. Right, so we need to see where we actually need to go. Map. Debris. Alliance training ground. So maybe we go first to the debris. Okay. See that. The use of the map is a bit kind of old-fashioned, but once you kind of learn it, works in a similar fashion to the maps you'd have in the old Elder Scrolls, like Oblivion, you know. You always need to go to the map and mark your destination and try to pinpoint that on the radar if you can. Sometimes it works, but I've seen a couple of times I didn't register properly, so I had to rework it myself, but you know. So there should be some debris here. Oh, it's here. Okay. Let's go and have a look. Electronic skill too low. How can that be? Why is my electronic skill too low? Huh. So we are gonna be definitely increasing his electronic skills. And then what was the other one? Decryption. And then okay, so that's quite good, but the rest of us have nothing. But let's face the facts, if he's got the maximum electronic skill, I should be alright. Proton rounds and ablative coating. Okay. I thought we were going to be getting a clue. Wasted my Omnigel now. Right, back to the map, and then pinpoint this other location, which is the training facility. That should be literally the other way. Maybe not really. That's probably what it is. There. Okay. What's happening? Minefields. Oh, looks like these rockets were firing. Ah, it just had to hit me. Can it be that I missed it several times? Okay. Something.
We're hit!
Negative contacts, Commander.
Yeah, but unfortunately, what we can't do is to repair.
Heading to position.
Because I've gone and used that Omnigel there. But you could never tell what you're gonna get in some of those crates. I thought there was gonna be, you know, an item a bit more valuable to what we've had. And this is definitely worth saving. Yep. Saved. It's a bit silly that it didn't save all of that condensation that we had. Power junction. Be very, very fast when you're decrypting, because any of those pop-ups you've got to be pressing as quickly as possible, so it does require really some reflex and speed, which is not always easy. I think we've come from here. Or not. It's not fast enough though.
Kill them all! I've lost shields!
Oh, they came from behind, didn't see them. Okay. More successful on our second run. Well, that is tricky. That is definitely tricky. So we better be ready for this. Let's see first the weapon out. Okay, so that's good weapons. Save it in here before getting in, because the enemy is there.
Hostile spotted.
I've lost shields!
can do. Shields down!
Nearly got killed. Good job I have some medikit in there, which I picked up earlier. Not really doing anything much. No. Why is she not going anywhere? It's a bit crazy, really. Saving it with the maximum health, as you could see. That's the idea. Power junction. Something we could have blown up, but we didn't see it. Okay, what's next? Save. Just in case we get jumped in that. Remember, save, always. It's the old games rule. Remember playing my PC games many years back, 25 years ago, and frequently I just forget to save and then I have to replay the whole thing. Right turn, left turn, very hard to tell. Conduit. Just a second, do we need to destroy this? Okay. So that's basically what it is. Last one in there, I think. data port. I didn't really look at the data ports in that other storage area. The lights on the optical mainframe slicker and die. The first of the 3 computing clusters containing the 6 is offline. Okay, so that's good. I think we'll have a look at that other compound in there. If there is one. Or maybe there wasn't one. Yeah, okay. So what next? Okay, so there should be some other conduits. So these are not all. There might have been conduits here that I didn't destroy. Shouldn't be that close though. Come on, get away from there. There isn't anything out there. That's quick. That's successful. Which is pretty good. Okay. Bear with me a second. Yeah, we need to see where the other conduits are. So that should be all of those. Just to tell me that we need to go to all the other ones. Oh yeah, there are 3. There are 3 of those in there. Man, that's gonna take forever. Could have gone there in Mako. Trouble is if you can we get in? Maybe it's just the 2 rather than 3. I will see. No, actually it isn't. Right, really go there quick. Save, of course. We can't save. Why not? It's not how me check X building. Looks like there's going to be some stiff resistance to our incursion. Well, fair enough, we'll make it hot. And I did press everything, didn't register. Go away. Go away. It's really annoying, but my teammates in here, they kind of quite keen on standing near those power junction portals, and that would mean, well, you know what it means. I need to tell you. Okay, that's ridiculous. That did it correctly. Okay, they need to go now there. Let's destroy this one. Okay, so that's done. Nothing in there of interest. Still not allowing us to save. That's boo, honestly. Oh, exit building. I should have gone back in. What am I doing? I didn't realize I'd turn around. I thought I was doing everything right. Okay. Can't open that one. It's the same like the other one. Okay. The solid run. Alright, so I managed to repress this. yeah, she's got really good weaponry now after I equipped the specs. So that's pretty good. And now I can save. Good. Yeah, we are progressing, so we just need to destroy those whatever they're called now, I keep forgetting. No, I don't think we have to bother with these. I was destroying them in the other one, but actually it was the other portals that had to be destroyed. Okay. Remember to save all the time because the game's not always saving. It's a glitch. Oh, it's the same thing like in the other one. Alright. It's a bit repetitive, I have to admit, in this instance. Conduit. What's this? They put barriers in there. Oh, right. What's this? Okay, do another save just in case. Alright, so that is the second cluster. Results, we need to get out, basically. Well, it's actually helping us to find a way back, got to admit. Save that, and a bit more, and we'll be done and dusted with this enjoyable and fairly easy-ish task. Compared to what we were doing yesterday, we've had a lot of difficulty with some of the enemies. But mind you, I've got better armor now, thanks to one of our community members who warned me about my armor being too weak. Pretty grateful. This is the last one in there, isn't it? I can't believe that Caden's got hardly any life. That's because standing next to those exploited devices, and I kept playing back. The game's a bit rusty on, you know, the controls for all three characters. I just really hope they will do a proper remaster and then the game will be amazing. I really can't wait for that. We better now get ready for some fireworks. Can't. Well, these ones are more difficult than the other two, I think. Never mind, we'll get back in and persevere. Okay. No, not exit building. On why? The game turned me around, so I thought this was the main entrance.
Waiting for orders.
Waiting for orders.
All targets down.
Save. Okay. Once we get in, can you still save in here? We can, that's pretty good. Don't know why I didn't save before then. Or maybe I did. What's happened to the enemy now? Odd. I thought we'd gone exactly the same way beforehand. Yeah, that's definitely a glitch, because we didn't really engage all the enemies in there. So what is this now? This is really strange. Looks like all of them have been destroyed already. $12.33.
Negative contacts, Commander.
Yes, no, that autosave was overriding our save. It's definitely not good. So what's happening in there? got it. I thought this was the last one. Well, it must be. But
Perimeter
how
clear.
can it be that there's no enemies anywhere? For some reason, game's bringing us back to one of the hangars where we already destroyed everything. I don't understand why. Because we've not been to this one and everything looks fully destroyed, so we need to do it manually, walk, see what next will need to be done in there. I want to wrap it up quick, but the game's not allowing me to do that. So the question is, which one is it now? So when you look at, where's Mako? Mako. See the map, maybe. It's this one, is it? No, I don't want to talk to Ashley, I want to get in a vehicle. Look at it.
Cover me.
Must be this one then.
Over
If it
there.
doesn't save again, I'm gonna eat my hat.
Now it gets fun.
Yeah, that's the correct one.
Perimeter secured.
Hang on. Equipment. Predator 4 is 46. Assassin. That's the best we can have. Assault rifle. See whether there's cruise sighting. Rail extension 23 damage. Extension for 20% damage. We got some points there. Master overkill, so that's good. One for him. I guess we can go for Sentinel. One for her. We'll go for Soldier, I think. First aid. Why not? Alright. Save. Save doesn't seem to work too well, let's face the facts.
Heads up!
Not allowing me to save here.
Perimeter clear.
Two of them need to be here. Well, the third one is going to be obviously a bit more difficult than the rest, so we probably will have to try with another type of strategy. Okay. I really want to save here, but it's not allowing me to do it. Look at it. So many of them, so what do I do? Don't have any grenades. So grenades probably would help. But these chaps need to be here, I think. Like here. Okay. of them are advanced assault drones and rather mighty. We'll wrap it up shortly. Hope you guys are enjoying our Mass Effect stream. It's been really, really good fun, and really enjoying my comeback to the game. It's been a while since I played it last. Just a reminder of how good the game is. To be here, 2 of them. To have more, yeah, that's okay. He's got no full life. Okay.
I'm blocked.
Destination blocked. Shields down.
I've lost shields.
That last one got me. We were really close. So reloads and recharge in here is taking a long while. And that's causing us this hiccup.
All clear, Commander.
All clear, Commander. All clear, Commander. I need to position them there, because otherwise they'll be killed immediately. Can't see them now. Okay. Same situation like the last time.
Hostile contact. Now it gets fun.
I smell trouble, of course. That's why we are here. This is what we are here for. Should say, and you stand in here. Okay. Let's see what other special perks we've got there, because my shield should be strong enough, but... Shield boost. Okay.
All clear, Commander.
Try to use shield boost before getting there. So you see, no, they need to go down here. And what's this? Oh, it's too fast. No. This didn't work at all. Sadly. Although I thought probably it would work.
Negative contacts, Commander.
Right from the start. Well, that wasn't particularly good. I need to be obviously manning a different position. I thought
Engaging target.
that provided me some cover. Didn't really. It's literally help. The problem with combat sequences is that the lead character is so remote. You can't, you want to run him or do something, it just gets glued to the surface and you don't go anywhere. Yeah, that was the problem also originally when the game was released, I remember. But in a situation like this, you would need to be jumping and running, and there's nothing you can do with him. It's just like literally very difficult. It's a major bother in here.
I'm a little busy here.
I'm a little busy. That's really funny. Okay, so are we going to be able to do it from here? I don't know.
Shields.
My weapon suddenly got stuck, wasn't firing for some reason. Can anyone explain me why? Weapon was just malfunctioning, it's nothing. No idea why.
Think we got him, Commander.
No one knows. I want to wrap it up and go to bed. As simple as that. And the game is just being really crafty, not allowing me to do any of that.
Shield.
No, and the weapon seems to be broken. Need to see why. It wasn't broken before.
Heads up.
So let me find out. Put that extension on, and my armor, Scorpion heavy armor 46. Predator's not too bad either. So what's this? It's probably what it is, assault rifle, Raptor. What about the rest of my team? Assault rifle, assault rifles. They're all, yeah, they're right. They're all good. So we probably will need to run to a different area because I think that it's the area that's causing us problems. We're cornered in that. Why can't I go back? Exit building in there.
I smell trouble.
Or if we were to go in,
Now it gets fun.
there's also a possibility we need to go to that room. And maybe too much space in there or so. Don't know, we'll see. We'll see. Shield. Okay, so let me see if we were to go there. So we're exposed again.
Heads up. Perimeter secured.
It didn't look like going in was a good idea. It's funny really because the other two areas were quite easy and this one is exceptionally difficult, so to put them here and how many of them are there? Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably more than 6, about 9 or 10. From what I've seen. So many drones. But I'll tell you what, I'm getting a bit tired and I'll finish up this mission tomorrow instead of pursuing it today. So thanks very much for watching. Thank you for being here with us tonight. It was a shorter Mass Effect stream, but hope you enjoyed all you've seen. There was a lot of discussion on the history of various species in here. Talked to everyone on Normandy, discovered some areas that we've not visited before, like the lower deck, and we got to know a lot about Geth and the history of Mass Effect altogether. So that was all very enjoyable, and I'm a bit tired now, so I think I'll go to bed and then we'll carry on with our adventure at some point tomorrow. So thanks very much for watching, and indeed I wish you all a very good night.